Hi, I'm Eileen.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Welcome to the other realm. And today, we are talking about 5 different energy hacks that you can use to work from home for your mental and emotional wealth.
A lot of people are finding that they have to alternate between working from home and going into the office. And when that actually happens, it becomes really quite disruptive. And this has actually resulted in a new phenomenon called techno stress. Have you heard of techno stress?
No.
Okay.
Like techno, like
No, but you don't have techno stress because you are naturally quite savvy with technology.
Oh.
So techno stress happens when people actually have difficulty adapting to new technologies and new systems, you know. So the best thing to do is really grounding meditation.
And for the grounding meditation, we actually already have a grounding video in our YouTube channel, so you can use that. It only takes 7 minutes to ground.
Yeah. If you feel like, oh, I really don't have time or I have inclination to listen to a grounding meditation, what you can actually do is you can actually get some like peppermint oil and just put it on the bottom of your feet. The other common issue that people face is that because you're working from home, you consistently have to be in front of your computer. And then your boss will be always calling you on your mobile phones, right? So there is a lot more contact with actually devices that emit EMF.
Oh yes, and especially now, one monitor is not enough. You need to have 10 in front of you, depending on what you do. Like you do trading, or your video, or you're editing videos, or you just like the idea. Oh, and especially also if you are gaming, you need this huge white computer to. So there's actually a lot of EMF.
One of my really good friends is in front of the computer the whole day. When she's not in front of the computer, she's on her handphone playing games. Even when she goes to the toilet, the handphone is with her.
Yeah.
Even when she's showering, she plays like videos on her handphone. So and it's pretty near to her.
Yeah.
Even when she's sleeping, the handphone is like this near to her.
Yeah. So it's practically glued to her energy.
Yes. For some people, they say, oh yeah, but these are like low EMF emitting like devices. True, if you are only sticking to one. But you know, it's like every little drop makes an ocean, right?
So we are actually living in EMF world.
Yes.
So what can we do?
So crystals, I feel, are the way to do it. So for example, if you have an obsidian crystal, it doesn't have to be fancy like that, okay? It can be just a very raw, ugly looking thing. But as long as it's obsidian, tourmaline, labradorite, or like onyx, it actually can help to absorb like the EMF or like EMF like frequency. So one of the things that you want to do is put it near to your devices. If you can, find a small one that you can put between you and the device. That would be most ideal. Right. If not, just have a larger size one and put it somewhere near on your work desk so that it's able to absorb all the EMF.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also EMF blockers. If you Google, like you can actually find suppliers. But my personal preference is always crystals because it also helps to raise the energy of your space. So sometimes I think the issue with working from home is that there isn't like a very clear start or stop. So in the past, like if you go to the office, you know you need to reach the office by a certain time, okay? And you know that you can actually leave the office by a certain time, okay? But nowadays, because of COVID and everything, I've had a lot of clients and friends actually complain to me that bosses are calling them like 10 p.m. at night. You know? Or they have this anxiety and worry because they don't know if their bosses are in front of the screen. One of my friends, but I'm pretty sure she's paranoid, has this like morbid fear that her boss is checking on how often she's online, like on WhatsApp, and also on their office like email like system, like Messenger. So she feels like she's glued to her laptop and she cannot like go away from it. And I was like, what about like your normal human needs like lunch? Then she says, oh, because she has this fear of like her boss asking her for things during the lunchtime, she literally eats in front of the screen.
No.
So when I met her, I realized that she was in a really like a high state of anxiety, and all her muscles are actually tight. Okay, So I said to her, look, try this, which is buy a small singing bowl, okay? And then when you ring it, the sound actually helps to sort of like calm you, and because you're holding the bowl, the vibrations actually go through you and it clears some of like the anxiety that's in your body. You can actually do this. If you can focus and keep a consistent sound, you are calm. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the demo of if you're not calm, this is what happens. Either there's no sound that comes out, okay, okay, or
oh yeah.
Because you're jittery. Okay. Yeah. So using a singing bowl, you can actually test how anxious or how relaxed you are.
Okay, what if the problem is that you work from home, but the separation between your work table and the bed is just too near, and it's so tempting to just go to the bed and plop and sleep?
Okay, so this is an issue with then focus and staying awake. So one actually way, simple way of increasing focus and staying awake is to diffuse essential oils, and not just any essential oils. So for example, if you diffuse lavender, you're more likely to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so what oils are we looking at? So for a lot of people, the simple oil and most accessible and also like a value for money oil is actually peppermint oil.
Oh.
My personal preference is actually the Eye of Horus. So the Eye of Horus is an oil blend which actually increase in sort of like your energy levels. It also helps to clear your energy, and it is also really good like for if you are trying to stay like awake.
Yeah, I think it also protects your energy, right?
Yes, so the Eye of Horus works like really well because clary sage also actually helps to sort of like expand your energy a little bit, so you're more protected. And a lot of my clients feedback that when they actually use this when they're working from home, it not only keeps them awake, but it also helps to clear their mind, and at the same time they are thinking clearly and working faster.
Oh.
Yeah, this is feedback that I get personally because I always think I work fast, so had no effect on me.
Don't need any oil. Okay.
For people who don't really like oil blends, you can also try Soul of Light, which is actually a Palo Santo fruit. It's a lot lighter and it smells like the Palo Santo. I like to use like Beauty of Silence because it's an Atlas cedar like oil. So again, so unlike Eye of Horus, which is a single oil blend, Beauty of Silence is the crystals in it in combination with the Atlas cedar wood that actually really helps to like clear your mind and keep you awake. And the Beauty of Silence is so named because it helps you to get to a quiet space within like yourself, and then that's where you can actually increase focus.
So it's not like if I find someone very noisy, I can give them the Beauty of Silence so that they can shut up.
You can do that. Sometimes you may not even need to waste your oil on them. You can just flash it in their face. You can actually use breath work to help you. Okay. So it's very, very simple. What you do is take a slow and deep breath in through your nose and count to 4. And then hold for 4 counts. And then exhale through your mouth, counting to 4 in your head, of course. And then pause. That means hold after you're finished breathing outwards, just hold for 4 counts and then relax. Okay? And then you can repeat like the cycle.
Okay.
So doing this actually helps you to awaken like your system and also to maintain focus. Partly it's also because you're bringing a lot of breath into your body. Most people don't realize that sometimes when they are very anxious, they stop breathing, or they have very shallow breathing.
That's true.
So by doing breath work, and this is actually a technique called square breathing. Everything is in 4 counts. That's why it's also called square. And what happens is that inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale through your mouth for 4 counts, and then pause for 4 counts, and then relax. Then you can repeat the cycle. You can actually try using what we call a mudra, which is actually a form of hand yoga. Sometimes people also lack motivation because they're too stressed out. So this mudra will actually help to reduce stress and also induce calm. And the mudra that I personally prefer is called Prana mudra. Okay, so Prana mudra is very simple. All you need to do is to touch the tips of your thumb to your ring finger, and the little finger, like that. Okay. So depending on how beautiful your hands are, you can see Eileen and I are doing the same but different.
It's not so easy. It's like a stretch.
Yeah. So like you can actually assume like a meditative pose, and you can even rest your hands on your lap. But like for me, I tend to like to relaxly put it out here and do this because I feel like it helps the flow of my energy better.
There's a stretch here that you feel?
Yeah. So this also corresponds actually with Chinese like meridian techniques, because in your hands and your feet there are a lot of acupressure points.
Yeah.
So even though there's two completely different systems, but I feel like there is some sort of like commonality between the two systems.
Okay, I'm definitely very motivated now.
Yeah. So when you actually do this, you can actually feel streams or electrical pulses of energy going through your fingers. So for people who are beginning to do the prana mudra, you can actually try it with one hand first. Okay. Then once you get used to it and it becomes very natural, you can try two hands. Yeah, but when you try one hand, you can actually feel like the energy pulsating.
I feel the stretch more than the pulsating.
Oh, that means your fingers are usually like not stretched. Apart from doing this mudra, you should also do breathing. So for example, focus on your breath and just breathe in, relaxly, and breathe out. Breathe in. Yeah. So you can do as many breaths as it takes actually to help you to feel like a boost of the energy level. Yeah. So do you feel more awake now?
Slightly.
Okay.
But my hand does feel tired.
Alright, so therefore people, if you need to be typing a lot on a computer, don't do this for too long, especially if you are just starting to learn to do it. Try and do it for just a couple of minutes, and then as you get more used to it, you can do it longer. Yeah.
Okay, and that's it. These are 5 energy hacks you can use to work from home for your mental and emotional health.
See you next time. Bye bye.